Hi guys, I am Sid.
And I'm Vera.
Welcome to another episode of The Balanced Path. We're back at it again, and we have lots and lots to share with you and talk to you. Also, ask you certain things because we keep talking and we never know what's in your mind. So, maybe we'll ask you a couple of questions. But I want to start with this incident that happened.
It's not an incident. Please don't make it sound really bad. Also, I'll be staring at the camera today. If it looks awkward, it's just something that I'm experimenting. So, I really don't know where to look. Like, you look at the lens, right?
No, you look at me, Veera.
No, like if you have to talk to the camera, like, because you look like a professional talking on the camera. But I look like somebody who's just looking at you.
That is something you have to just that's just something that's going to happen.
Like
So.
Siddharth is like last episode I looked at Siddharth. I'm just constantly looking at you and talking, and you're just like giving these
You were
looks
looking
into the
at me
camera.
because you're mesmerized by me.
That's not
No,
true.
that's true.
That's not true. So I'm like trying to like.
This is audience, so I know that when I look here, I'm looking at the people who
So-
are actually watching.
So
and
this
then,
is why I'm trying to look here
yeah,
because
this is when I'm talking to you.
मेरी
Very
आंखों में
simple
देखो.
stuff. Easy है. बताइयो लास्ट इंसिडेंट नहीं बोल सकते उसको पर अच्छा इंसिडेंट है पर इंसिडेंट
मतलब what?
basically
Hi.
guys are a very good dear friend of ours Ravneet had a baby daughter called Nadar. So Nadar, if you watch this after maybe
15 years.
14 15 years when
Yeah.
you're actually able to you're allowed to look at a phone or something, you'll probably
And if YouTube still exists, which I'm sure it will.
YouTube algorithm, I don't know. But yeah, baby daughter was born, and it was quite. This was a mesmerizing experience for me because it was like a lot of emotions and like.
You make it sound. You said baby daughter. Like I was like baby girl. Because
well,
that sounds like a rap song.
baby girl,
Baby girl.
baby girl in the house, ऐसा.
Yeah.
तो बताना फिर ये बता रोई क्यों थी वहाँ?
Because it was quite overwhelming. I think I didn't expect like childbirth. I mean, I didn't really witness that, but like I didn't expect it to be so overwhelming. But it was a very overwhelming situation, and it's like too many things are happening, and they don't really tell you what is happening. Like they just say कि अच्छा father कौन है, and then they take the father. Like just tell that everything is okay. Like the mother is
Yeah,
in a
nobody
good
really-
position, and the baby is safe. Say that and then take the father. They were just like father कौन है?
No.
Like it was like really overwhelming because I was
The
just
thing-
like, what is happening? Is everything okay? You know, it was very.
You know why it was like this? I have a theory for this also.
Okay.
So initially, the delivery was taking place on the second floor, right? Third floor, fourth floor,
Fourth floor.
Okay, some other floor, and we were on the first floor with Bhag, the father, the husband, and we're sitting there, and delivery is happening somewhere else, so we have no idea what's happening. हो गई है, होनी है, क्या हुआ है, क्या नहीं, everything is fine. So we're sitting there, and Bhag's phone suddenly rings, and he's like, अच्छा, okay. So at this point we're like, क्या हुआ है भाई बता, मतलब क्या चक्कर क्या है, सब सही है, and he's like, अच्छा, okay, हाँ ठीक है, and like nothing,
reaction.
and the next thing he says is like, ऊपर बुलाया, and we're like, okay, ऊपर बुलाया, but सब ठीक है. We had no idea.
And the thing is that there was somebody, you didn't see this, you just started walking up, but there was somebody cleaning the room. So they were like, while we're cleaning the room, you leave. And Bhag is not going. He's like, Veera, come on, let's go. I'm like, but she is saying that stop here, make sure that I exit the room and then you can leave. So I was like, you go because you need to be there. But he's just like, because I think he was also very stressed. So he was like, come. But yeah, that process, I think the build-up was so stressful and like overwhelming, plus they don't really say anything. It's just that
Yeah, they weren't saying anything. So
They were
even
not
when
saying
we
anything.
went up, so
Yeah.
we were called, and then we were like, okay, we're here now. बताओ क्या हुआ है, and nobody had any answers. They were like, we were just told to call you and just say कि come, but we don't know what's happening. So you were just standing there wondering क्या हुआ है क्या नहीं. But yeah, इतना मुझे पता था that when a baby is delivered, the baby should cry.
Right.
And that is a sign that everything has went well. So I heard the cries, and like I think I was the only one who was like, okay, I think everybody else was like tense, and Bhag is like, at one end of the corridor पीछे खड़ा है कि आप जाओ like नहीं भाग, you have to go, right? But it was fun. It was a fun experience for us, and I can't really say it was fun, but yeah, it was
It was
something.
a new
It
experience.
was a new experience, yeah.
And then you basically, like I have like into 1,000 times respect for mothers, because what mothers go through is something really unspoken of, and
Extraordinary, yeah.
it is absolutely beautiful and scary. So yeah, it was very close to proximity and heart to experience all those emotions, and it was absolutely wonderful. Like yeah, mothers are great.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
I won't say this to my mother, but I think you're amazing to like
Hi, Mom.
deal
You're
with this.
amazing.
Deal with this.
That's actually true. Your mother probably had a very hard time. But yeah, I mean, that was something that happened last week. I actually want to talk about how people, because we work out and we've been working out for a while, everybody who we come across, whether it is at a function, at a wedding, at a birthday, is like, आप तो कुछ भी खा लेते होगे ना, आपको क्या है? It's like, नहीं, ऐसे नहीं होता है. Like, it's like, how do you explain this to people that we take good care of what
We put in our mouth. Yeah.
It's always like, अच्छा वीरा तू तो exercise करती है तो कुछ भी खा सकती है.
Yeah.
Is that true?
That happens all the time. It's
But-
actually quite. I also have developed this weird habit as to whenever there are guests at home and never eat in front of anybody, because I feel like everybody is constantly looking at my plate, and that sort of is very overwhelming, because the thing is that like people eat very less and still put on weight. And here I'm like literally eating like a lot of food, and then it looks like इतना खाती है फिर भी इतनी मतलब बहुत exercise करती होएगी या whatever. And that I think sometimes I feel like ना वो मेरी plate को देखेंगे तो ना किसी को पता चलेगा कि मैं क्या खाती हूँ. So yeah, like people can assume whatever they want to assume.
But what do we tell people from like a help, like want to help them kind of a perspective कि how do we tell people that no, it's not like हाँ जी कुछ भी खा लो, हाँ क्योंकि वर्कआउट करते हैं. You know, there's this thing called,
especially when we go to people's houses, like
Yeah.
they'll give us मिठाई, and
आप तो खा ही सकते हो.
आप तो खा ही सकते हो, but genuinely like I hate मिठाई.
नहीं खा सकते यार. इनफैक्ट अभी कॉफ़ी के साथ बिस्किट वहाँ पड़े हैं, आपको दिखेंगे नहीं. वो हम अभी डिसाइड करके हटे हैं कि वो, मैं कहता हूँ तो मेरे सिलेबस में नहीं है, बट पाजी हियर इज़ लाइक कि ये चैप्टर ही मुझे पसंद है. लाइक लिटरली लाइक दे जस्ट स्टैंडिंग देयर लुकिंग एट मी, दे वांट these cookies, want me to eat them, but I won't, because it's just something it's a conscious decision that I've made. And I totally truly believe in the saying that you cannot out train a bad diet. You might feel like okay कुछ भी खाओ फिर सुबह जिम चले गए
तो ठीक हो जाएगा.
भैया नहीं, मतलब एक बर्फी के पीस की जो कैलोरीज है वो बर्न कर रही है, मतलब यू प्रॉब्ली हैव टू रन एन आवर. सो लाइक I mean,
but still doesn't mean that you don't eat it. You
Exactly.
eat it in moderation, but like 90% of the times, I would say
80.
95% of the times you don't eat it.
80-20.
5% of, and people are going to hate on me for saying this, because a lot of people are like, oh itna. But the thing is that if you eat similar kinds of foods every day, like stick to your basic jo ghar pe banta hai, that's literally what we eat every day.
Yeah.
With our protein. And it's like I don't need to think about it, because I've realized when I have to think about food, that's when I want to get that cookie. That's when I want to get like a snack in, and then I'm not thinking, then I'm just like hungry and I just want to get whatever is closest to me. But whereas if I know that okay, this is what I'm going to eat, it's there on the table, I'm going to put that first, and then if I feel like eating like say a piece of chocolate, or if I feel like eating ice cream, I will eat it. But usually what happens is after I have had my meal, I don't feel like eating. So yeah, like it's very hard to explain it to people, because I feel like especially with like Zomato and all these like obviously like we run a restaurant, and like with the options of having a lot of food to eat, people are constantly like bored of eating just food that is normal, like regular home food. And वो भी लोग कहते हैं कि regular home food is also not part of their diet, which generally is like healthy for you. Our forefathers ate it.
बट आपका तो रेस्टोरेंट, आप तो सब कुछ खाते होगे.
आप तो घर पे खाना ही नहीं बनाते होगे, आप तो बाहर से खाते
हाँ,
होगे.
तो रेस्टोरेंट है ना आपका, तो टेस्टिंग में ही सब कुछ.
But how do I explain? Like we need to explain it to people
mean,
that I'm a like a old person trapped into a 32-year-old
That's true.
person's body.
I don't remember the last time I ate something from Zoka or Sama. Maybe
I did last night.
You did. I tried it, but I didn't wasn't like inclined to like eating it. But again, we don't want to sound like we don't eat anything. Again, सबसे पहले तो I think to label foods is not right.
It's
Okay,
not.
अच्छा खाना है, बुरा खाना है, this is good, this is junk, this is bad. I think that is something that we have to let go.
Correct.
All food is food, whether it is processed, unprocessed, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if that cookie or that cake or that pie or that ice cream is in between your calorific limits, eat it. As long as you're inside those calories, you will not lose, you will not gain weight. Okay, it's as simple as that. uh, in fact, I would like to share something which is very like it's kind of an eye opener. So I've started online training, right? A couple of months back, and most of my clients, when they come on board, they're usually busy. They've usually tried hundreds of different diets. They know how to work out, they've been doing it for a while, but they're stuck in terms of there are no results. Either their weight is stuck, either they're not getting stronger. Whenever I look at their diets, they are eating much less
Then
than they should.
I think most of the people, because they
It's
think
crazy. It's like
कम
all
खाने
of
से
them are
पतले
the
हो
same.
जाएंगे.
Huh? It's like, you know what happens when you're putting in the work in the gym, you're working out. Now you have this persona of you being a healthy person. So you'll start subconsciously eating lesser and lesser and lesser, thinking, okay, less is good, let's just not eat this. ऐसे करते करते, because I mean, कुछ खाने लगो इंस्टाग्राम पे, देखो ये नहीं खाना, अच्छा ये भी नहीं खा सकते, अच्छा ये खाने लगो इंस्टाग्राम पे, अच्छा ये नहीं खा सकते. It's like कुछ भी नहीं खा सकते भाई, मर जाओ, है ना, literally. So I mean, they start eating so less that their metabolism is so slow that they'll stop losing weight.
But why go further? Like, even like, especially my parents, like their eating habits are also very similar.
Let's
like
not
when they
talk about
no, because when I feel like like it's so close to home that it's easily like, I'll not talk about my friends or anybody, but I'm talking about like parents so close to home that we see them eat every day, and I feel like the moment they want to lose weight, like the first thing is, अच्छा मीठा नहीं खाते, ये नहीं खाते, वो नहीं खाते, ये छोड़ देते हैं, वो छोड़ देते हैं, because it's bad. And then like it happens a lot of times that like my parents look at my food and they're just like, अच्छा ये तो खाई
ये
जा
तो
रही है.
5 ब्रेड के पीस खा रही है. Yeah, it's like, because that's part of your carbs, you can eat them. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, if a person who needs 2000 calories, and if they come on board, I see they're eating only 1000 calories. So सबसे पहले they are surprised, and also they're like, now we want to lose weight. But I'm like, okay, no, you can't lose weight because you're already eating 1000 calories.
इससे कम क्या खाओगे?
How do I put you in a deficit? भाई 500 calorie खाओगे. So you slowly have to build towards that 2000 mark, or whatever the calculation is. This takes weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But once you're at that 2000 mark, two things they notice. Number one, their weight is the same. वो जो 1000 पे खा रहे थे तब भी वेट सेम था, अभी भी वेट सेम है. बट देर ईटिंग मोर फूड, दे फील स्ट्रॉन्गर, दे आर लविंग देयर वर्कआउट्स, बिकॉज नाउ दे हैव मोर स्ट्रेंथ, दे हैव मोर स्टैमिना, they have more endurance. It's just like, because you have more food in the body. And after you've reached that 2000 calories, which is more double the food of what you were eating, and then what happens is your body gets into safe mode. It now understands that, okay, I am getting nutrients, I don't have to hold on to all that fat which I've saved for a rainy day. क्योंकि जब 1000 खा रहे हो तो बॉडी इज लाइक कि भाई फैट पकड़ के रखो, लेट्स नॉट लेट गो ऑफ द वेट और द फैट, बिकॉज यू डोंट नो व्हाट्स गोना हैपन. न्यूट्रिएंट्स आगे कम है, मेटाबॉलिज्म स्लो कर दो. बट खाना मिलने लग पड़ा, मेटाबॉलिज्म फास्ट हो गया, जो स्टोर्ड फैट है
ऑलरेडी फाइट मोड. हाँ,
देन यू गेट इनटू अ प्रॉपर इन्फॉर्म्ड प्रोडक्टिव डेफिसिट. Those are जब आप you go down to that 1600, that's when like weight stops dropping, and they're like, oh my god. And by the time they're eating like 1400 calories, which is again 400 calories of above what they were eating, they are already looking great, feeling great. They're like, yeah, what the hell? That's
just something
exactly. That's what I've realized, and that happened to me as well. I recently did a transformation on myself, and I went way low in terms of calories because I wasn't eating enough. I just started जहाँ से मैं था, started cutting, went all the way down to 1100 calories, which was very less food, and reached where I wanted to reach, and then started adding back calories, staying at the same weight. Came up to almost 2400. So that's like double the amount of
food.
Same weight, okay. And obviously 2400 calories पे मैं bread भी खा रहा हूँ, मैं once in a while I like to also, like, in terms of balance, I like 80-20. So 80% of the time I'll eat like basic sada khana, same thing every day. 20% of the time, okay, I'll have that cookie because again वो मेरी calories में fit होती है. I'll have that burger, I'll have that pizza, and लोग कह रहे हैं यार अच्छा तेरे मतलब तेरे abs हैं भाई, तू पिज़्ज़ा खा रहा है, पिज़्ज़ा खा के नहीं भाई, पहले मतलब मैंने
काफी
तपस्या
काम
की,
की है.
and
Right,
then I
right, right.
slowly got my metabolism back to where I was eating 2400 calories.
Yeah.
फिर I started including those nice foods,
Yeah.
and this is what everybody needs to do. You have to be at that calorific number where you feel great,
Absolutely.
you're eating a lot of food, and you can eat pretty much everything, knowing that हाँ मुझे पता है कि हाँ ये जो कॉफ़ी है, या अगर मैं हॉट चॉकलेट भी पी रहा हूँ, अगर मेरे कैलोरीफिक लिमिट में है
Yeah.
तो चलेगा.
Even with me, like I feel like when I started eating my maintenance calories, I had obviously not gone to such a low cut. But when I started eating those maintenance calories, I was just like, wow, like I would wake up every morning so fresh and feeling
Better
not
recovery.
like, I'm like, what was I doing for the longest time? Because I was feeling so recovered, so energetic, not tired. If you remember the while I was running, I used to be tired all the time. I was like, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired. Like, you stopped hearing that term because I used to say
It's
that
actually
a lot, that I'm tired. And I genuinely felt drained through, because I feel like nutrition was bad. I was running so many kilometers in the whole week, and by the end of it, I was not recovering at all. So I know what that side of the spectrum felt like, but I also know that this side of the spectrum feels great. I know it's a little mini. It is not cumbersome, but I'll say it's hard work. Like we show up every morning at the same time to the gym. It's like, even with nutrition, I know that ये खाना है तो इतना stressful नहीं होता. But it is work. It's not that I have to shut my eyes and be like, okay, today I will just eat this and nothing will happen. Like, all these people that we see and we look up to on Instagram, like I feel like everybody has like a story to tell. And it's like a similar story. Everybody does that. And yeah, I mean, I feel like consistency and like
Is
putting
key.
in the work every single day rather than thinking कि हाँ मैं 6 महीने करूँगा उसके बाद नहीं करूँगा. I feel like it's like the small steps that you take towards the mountain or the peak
Ooh, nice.
is how you
plug in.
peak.
But yeah, I mean, that's something. I mean, we can move straight away to, like, if you're.
But 1 second,
हाँ.
sorry. You asked me how do you deal with कि ये मिठाई खा लो when we
हाँ,
go to
हाँ, how do
people's
you deal
houses.
with that?
So I feel like I can eat that, but then in my head I'm like, but I will like eat those calories, rather eat something that is going to fill my stomach, because that one mithai is not going to, like, I am that person that honestly like likes to feel like I'm
Full.
not hungry. I don't want to feel hungry all the time. So like if you give me the option of eating one barfi versus eating a whole meal, I would rather eat that whole meal, because I don't want to be like, अच्छा मैंने मिठाई खा ली, because मिठाई खाने के बाद scientifically speaking and not just generally, or you'll have an insulin spike, then you'll have an insulin crash, and then you'll start feeling hungry again. Because and I don't want to feel hungry, so I rather not eat that and look rude than have a meal. And that's how I deal with it. कि अब मैं उनको ये logic नहीं समझाऊंगी, but I'll just say that ठीक है, मेरे syllabus में नहीं है.
Chapter नहीं पसंद.
Chapter नहीं
So
पसंद.
इसीलिए, like, I mean, the days that you want to eat something, let's
Yeah.
say you want to eat pizza, you want to eat
I eat
a
it.
brownie, you eat it because you understand, like,
To give, like, they say na, like, you have to give there's a thing when you have to balance out the equation in chemistry, right? Or in maths, in chemistry, I think, I don't know. So you have to let go of certain components from one side to be able to balance it out. Energy balance ही होता है by the end of it. Same thing with the body also. Like it's a balance out of energy, which is calories. So if you one day feel like eating a brownie, you eat that brownie and then let go of certain other. ये भी नहीं कि पूरा खाना भी खाना है, brownie भी खानी.
वो
That's where you need to consciously make that effort.
agreed. And that is all you guys need to understand. Like, if let's say I'm having 2000 calories every day, same amount of food, and one day I decide to have that 500 calorie brownie, all I need to do is not eat those 2000 calories, just eat 1500 and eat that 500 calorie brownie. I'm still in that 2000 mark. As simple as that. तो brownie भी खाई, enjoy भी किया, diet पे भी हो. So no such thing as a cheat meal. I just don't that word kind of drives me a little
Nut.
insane. Like cheat meal. There's no cheating
भैया
here.
cheat meal नहीं होता कुछ.
Not even a treat meal भी नहीं मैं बोलूँगा भाई. It's just something that you know incorporated in your meal plan, and
Yeah.
that is what I tell my clients. It is okay, and it is human nature to want to eat different
Out
things
and
and
go out
eat
and have
them.
fun. You don't want to be like, I've also been that person. I've gone out with friends and I've been like, sorry, I can't eat this because I'm on
I
a
used to be that
diet.
person as well. Yeah.
And I will only have this, and I would eat like pre-eat like lunch and go for lunch. You know, like that's
You
how.
still do that.
Yeah, because I also have certain like issues that I can't eat after. Like I said, I'm like a 32-year-old trapped in an old person's body. Like I don't feel hungry post a certain hour.
That's true. That's
So
true.
I have to
But
like,
yeah, I mean, whatever it takes, right? At the end of the day,
whatever, like everybody's system is different.
yeah.
And
This is
whatever
what works
floats
for us,
your
I
boat
guess. Yeah.
is-
This is what works for us.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, and it's pretty cool. I mean, honestly, I feel good when I like work out. I feel like my performance is good when I'm eating well. I feel I look better. So I think I'm okay with that trade-off of like not eating.
I feel like also work is fun. Then otherwise, like there is once you start feeling a little confident about how you're looking and how you're eating, your productivity in terms of work also increases because you're not taking hours to burn that food, and you're not feeling sleepy and groggy through your work. And that usually, I mean, I see a very different level, like different levels of energy while working now. Like I'm not feeling sleepy in the office. Earlier I would feel like after lunch especially, like I would feel groggy and like I would want to like, maybe like put my
Take a
head
nap.
down. Yeah, but
अभी वो नहीं होता.
वो अभी नहीं होता because I feel like energy levels are quite maintained, which makes me happy. Like it feels like I'm optimizing my performance every day,
Ooh.
peaking
Pretty-
it.
That's fun. That's fun. मुझे ये बता,
हाँ.
तू पेट्रियाटिक है?
हाँ.
तूने इंडिया का झंडा डाला ना, इसलिए पूछा.
Yeah.
It is technically India का झंडा, right?
No, it's not.
Yes,
So
there's
that's
saffron,
like,
there's
but
green,
like there's
there's
blue also.
वो blue कम ही दिख रहा है ना. वो blue signifies जो नदियाँ हैं हमारे इंडिया की. So yeah, well done, man. Anyways, also I want to talk a little touch the topic of the mind. This is all physical, खाया पिया क्या नहीं खाया, कैसे दिख रहे हो. But what about like the mental aspect of it? I mean, I think what really worked for me, as what is really working for me, is the fact that sitting down the first thing in the morning for 20 minutes and just like, उसको ध्यान बोल लो, उसको जो मर्जी बोल लो. I mean, we do Vipassana, which is a Buddhist type of meditation, but it's a lot to do with breathing. It is very simple, and the idea behind it is to be present in the current moment and trying not to let your mind wander into something that has happened or something that you think might happen. It is just like you're here, you're sitting, here you are, this is my breath. And it's actually, initially it is a little daunting, because obviously mind runs here and there. You're probably doing 5 other things while watching this podcast. That's how human nature is. But for those 20 minutes we just try to center our attention to the breath, which is flowing in and out at that moment. And I think we've been doing that for a while, and it really kind of
Changed.
encompasses everything else. It just calms us down, gets us ready for the day, and makes us understand that, okay, just focus on the now. What will happen is something that nobody has control on. What has happened now. You can't do anything about it. So yeah.
Yeah.
So what were your experiences when you started Vipassana?
I mean, initially, of course, like just to sit even for 5 minutes is hard because the mind is very chanchal.
Chanchal giggles.
The mind is very, the mind is very chanchal. I don't have another word for, like, it's unstable. And that's not a very nice word. Unstable is not इतना ज़्यादा, उसका जो deepness है ना, वो चंचलता से आता है. Because बच्चों का मन भी चंचल.
Oh my God, yeah.
So चंचल होता है दिमाग. So I feel like initially it was very hard. Like sitting even for 5 minutes was really, really hard. It was, and like now so many times we sit for 20, 30, 35 minutes and it feels like, okay, Um, uh, Obviously, like I think you know this, you've seen it. I feel like I'm not the person I was a year back, or even like 2 साल तो दूर का बात है, but even a year back, like I can process things better. I know how to. My reaction time has increased, which is basically that don't react when like something has happened. Like take some time, absorb the moment, and then unless a baby is born.
That's when you don't have to hold.
That's when
Hold it
Vipassana is like, I clearly haven't really reached the peak where I can control those emotions. But yeah, like I feel like initially, like especially, I see that at work, I see that in my relationships. I'm more conscious of how I, react and take decisions, because if you remember, like initially when we opened Zoka, of course, like 101 things are going to go bad when you start a business, and in general every day something or the other happens. Just to make your mind understand कि ये तो मतलब part of the game है, it is going to stay. It is not going to go. It's not like La La Land where you open something or you're doing something and every day is perfect. Unfortunately, I've watched too many movies, so I live in a perfect world where
A make-believe
the demand,
perfect world. Yeah.
where demand and supply is equal. But unfortunately, in the real world, it doesn't work like that. So that I feel like meditating Vipassana sort of helps me
Understand
navigate
that,
my way through this
the ups and downs.
dynamic environment, which basically, I'll give you an example. Like कुछ हो गया खराब काम पे, अब instead of me like crying about it, and I've said this earlier also on this podcast, instead of me crying about it कि हाय क्या करेंगे, कैसे होएगा, अरे बहुत ख़राब हो गया, ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए था, that person is so bad, how dare he, I feel like what it makes you do is कि अच्छा ठीक है अब हो गया है, it's not irreversible. So now how do you deal with it? Like what is your next step? What is your next decision? Or how you're supposed to like fix it? So that is sort of like what it's helped me with, even like in terms of like gussa. Like everybody's like, oh, Veera's so sweet, Veera's so nice. Veera's not nice. Veera gets very angry. Has like real, like I think I have like real abhi nahi aata itna gussa, but I used to get a lot of gussa. And especially when also, like I said, I live in a perfect world. So the perfect world, everybody is nice to you, but in real world nobody is nice to you. So when people are not nice to me, I get very angry. It angers me that how can anybody do this? Or like if I see an animal on the road, I'll be like, how can anybody hit animals and be like this? So earlier it used to really bother me, but now I'm just like, theek hai, like I can't get angry at people. I'll have to like try to fix the situation rather than fixing people. I can fix the problem, or work towards the problem or make it better. So yeah, just basically diverting energy from like wasting it to making it more productive. Actually doing something about it. So I feel like that's how it's helped me.
Nice.
And also like understanding your own self. Even I feel like just to like even like show up to the gym every day, even to like eat the same kind of meal, even to like shoot this podcast, everything requires like, because everybody wants to do a lot of things and everybody says that we don't have the time, but it's not about like having the time or not having the time, it's about like making the time. It's about understanding, and that understanding only comes with when you understand your mind and body connection better.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Only you just have to start
somewhere
doing
and
something
exactly
to actually understand what works.
What works and
otherwise
what
you
doesn't
can
work.
just sit and contemplate and talk about something. It's like क्या होगा, कैसे होगा, ये ना हो जाए, वो ना हो जाए, भाई, you will never know. Maybe
till the time
it's
we don't.
better to start something and fail.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
better to start something and fail rather than just keep sitting and thinking कि क्या होगा, क्या हो सकता था. 20 years down the line, like I used to do this, I was a great artist, but I just didn't pursue it. अगर मैं artist बन जाता तो क्या होता, भाई, वो यही फिर वही होगा, है ना. And even after 20 years down the line, it's fine, you can still become an artist. You can be anyone, anything, any
Whoever
time,
you want to
yeah,
be,
any time
yeah.
of your life, doesn't matter if you're 20s, 30s,
You've not
40s.
lost the train.
You've not lost the train. That's actually something that we'll talk about. But yeah, for me personally, Vipassana is something that I just can't do without. I have to have that 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes in the morning.
Lost the train, nahi, missed the train. Sorry.
मैं क्या पता नहीं क्या बोलेगी. But yeah, I think it's made me a more practical person. It's like very cut to cut के यार ये सही लग रहा है,
Okay.
नहीं है, ये होगा या
Correct.
नहीं होगा. Let's not beat around the bush and just like
Get to the
get
point.
things done, है ना?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you aren't taking care of your mental health, you should start right now. And honestly, it's not very hard. Take out 5 minutes, just sit, and don't even like have to follow a particular kind of
Abhi-
technique. Just sit and see where your mind is going.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's it.
अभी वैसे भी इंडिया में मेंटल हेल्थ और माइंडफुलनेस काफ़ी पॉपुलर होने वाला है और सारे इन्फ्लुएंसर्स इसको बोलेंगे बिकॉज that'll be the in thing
It's the in
because
thing.
it's
It's always the in thing,
happening. It's a lot of people are actually meditating in the West, so I feel like since we are so used to following the West, but I feel like it's not whether it's a trend or not a trend. It feel like just understanding your mind just makes everything so much better and productive rather than you saying कि मैं करूँ ना करूँ या whatever. And even in terms of your relationship with your like partner, your parents, everything just makes more sense. Like you not have these assumptions and you not be like अरे उसने मुझे ऐसे बोला, oh he must be thinking this. Is very like it's out there. You talk about things that you're feeling and then it just makes things much, you know,
Makes sense.
centered.
Makes sense. Okay, guys, fun fact, 80% of you guys watching right now haven't subscribed. So subscribe right now. Okay, like, share, subscribe. I'm doing this for the algorithm. Apparently you have to do this. Let's see if
I'm
you guys actually
looking
subscribe.
into the camera so that what you just said, like share subscribe, मतलब ऐसे लगे कि मैं उनको बोल रही हूँ.
Directly बोल रही हूँ.
हाँ.
Also, there's a ask I want to kind of, I'm going to ask you for something. I want you to basically comment as to what you want us to talk about. Okay, we recently did a post on Instagram and we have a couple of interesting questions that we're going to talk about. So if there is something you want us to talk about, just comment right now and in the next podcast we'll try to cover it. Okay, because at the end of the day we are here because we feel our experiences might rub off on somebody's and somebody might find value. That being said, beautiful question somebody asked was what about late bloomers? What if you have missed the train in your 20s? Can you still try to get on that train in your 30s or 40s or 50s? Okay, so yeah, you want to address that?
Yeah, why not? I feel like there is nothing known as late blooming. Everybody has their own pace and everybody has their own like when you run a marathon, like some people finish before you and some people finish after you, and there are people who finish behind you also, and
there are
that
people
is,
who are not even participating.
there are
वो भी
people who
बैठे
are
हैं.
not even participating. Exactly. And they, like looking at you, maybe like one person gets inspired and just do it for that one person. Because I feel like late blooming तो कुछ होता ही नहीं है. I feel like all throughout initial 20s, I was so like confused. First, like I was obviously like finished studying and finished my graduation, and then I obviously wanted to work because I wanted to have a job. Because the first thing is like you have to be independent, and independent means you earn money. But of course, I wasn't completely independent. I was still taking money from my parents. But yeah, like it was like, oh, I have a salary now and I'm an adult, like a pseudo adult. But yeah, so after that, that's when after a few years, I found fitness. When I shifted back to my family business and came to Jalandhar, things started falling in place. I feel like I became more of a person, my own person, and like took that whole fitness journey and started coaching. Absolutely enjoyed until a point came where I was like, now what? Like, now what should I do? I feel like at every stage, if you're continuously doing the same thing, and there is nothing wrong in doing that, but I feel like I feel like every business after a certain point has a saturation point, है ना?
Yeah.
तो अगर आप वो saturation point पे खुश हो, you can stick on to that. But like a lot of people are not happy with it, and that's currently like that's exactly what happened with me. Like I was not happy at the saturation point, and that's when I started looking out for more things, and that's when actually Zoka happened, and like now other beautiful things are happening. So I feel like that that urge to constantly keep doing something makes you like bloom at different stages of your life. Like I'm not the person, like I feel like if you see, like I was sort of becoming the person I wanted to be in my late 20s, and then I started, we started this business when I was probably 30, 31, 30. And so that's, according to whoever asked this question, a late bloomer. So I don't think it's late. And now also it's not that कि अच्छा initially क्या लगता था कि अच्छा एक चीज़ कर ली, wow, that mentality, we have that mentality कि छोटा, like think small. And there is, I mean, I'm not trying to put anybody down here, and I'm not being rude, but like chota sochna, and because we're so scared to take that risk, like we're happy and we are content in like this little thing. But then when luckily we have like mentors, and we have Sunil ji, biggest mentor in our lives. He told us कि अच्छा अब क्या, like बैठ जाना है और कुछ नहीं करना. So yeah, I feel like that's when you're like, okay, you're capable to do more, and then you do another thing, and then you're like, wow, like it wasn't that hard. Like the first jump is hard, but then when you start taking those small jumps, every few months you understand that acha theek, it's not so hard. So basically it just showed us the path, put us on the path, and now we're walking towards that path. And also I feel like this is again going back to Vipassana. I feel like this realization only comes because we sit there every day and understand that rather than wasting our energy on something which is absolutely not worth it, like let's start working in the directions to make the people that work with us more empowered, make, like, do it for like the betterment of everybody around us. And I feel like that's I mean, there is nothing known as. So yeah, like you're still blooming, and you can make your blooming season last. I feel like you can bloom whenever, but that bloom can last for as long as you want it to last, Just keep trying, keep experimenting, and moving forward.
Interesting insights. I think, yeah, I agree totally. There is no such thing as late blooming. The idea is to bloom. Whether you bloom in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 60s, doesn't matter. Some actionable things that I would probably tell myself if I could go back like 10 years would be like, find a mentor. Find somebody in the field that you want to excel at, because whatever you want to do, there are people who have already done it and have achieved great success in that particular field.
True.
For example, if you want to become a gym trainer, find the best gym trainers out there and see their process. Just follow them, maybe get in touch with them. They'll be more than happy to help you out. If you want to be a restaurateur, find great restaurateurs around you and get in touch with them, see their process, because they've already like done it, right? All you need to do is follow in their footsteps.
Yeah, they've basically like dissected every section of the problem that can arise, and not even the problem that can arise, but how to basically, they've laid the path for you, and you can just follow and build on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So basically they say success leaves clues. There you go. All you have to do is follow those clues, and you'll be at their position in no time at all.
Yeah.
So find a mentor and find people who are doing the same thing that you want to do. And some of you will probably be like, but we don't know what to do. That's fine. Just follow your passion, follow your hobby, do anything and everything until eventually you will find what you need to do. Because honestly speaking, I haven't. I was a late bloomer as well. In my teens, I had no idea what I wanted to do. In my 20s, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I did my BCom. I didn't want to do it, but I did it. I've done my law. I wasn't very inclined at doing it, but I did law because I felt कि चलो law कर लेते हैं.
Because your parents...
My parents were lawyers, but I never was inclined towards law, but I did it, right? But then doing that made me go to Bombay, again, made me start CrossFit. And even while doing CrossFit, I loved it so much. I was like, I just want to do this. I had no idea that this could be made a business or whether I want to do it as a business. And doing CrossFit for a couple of years now, I'm completely disconnected with CrossFit. I don't do CrossFit at all. That was also a hard decision for me, but I had to make it because hey, moving on is, what life is all about. So don't worry about anything, just jump in. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या होगा, फेल हो जाएगा, कोई बात नहीं, 5 और चीज़ें करने को मिल जाएगी. Don't worry, no such thing as a late bloomer.
I feel like what actually can cause failure is the
Procrastination.
not procrastination, yes, but also the mindset which tells you that I know everything.
Ooh.
That mindset basically helps you. It's
Fail.
a sure shot path to failure.
Agreed.
When you think, then I see a lot of people, like when you think that you know everything and you're not accepting of your shortcomings or accepting of like to learn, that's when you remember
Agreed.
that your the
100%.
path or blooming तो होएगा ही नहीं ना, तो late bloom हो
मुरझा जाओगे.
मुरझा जाओगे basically.
Yeah, the day
just
you-
shutting your mind to anything is failure.
Yeah, the day you
You
feel,
say कि मेरे को सब आता है.
वो मतलब समझ लेना कि अब now you're starting to walk backwards, right? पीछे को चलना शुरू कर दिया. So yeah, keep learning because यार इतना कुछ है दुनिया में सीखने के लिए that you can never, like, in one lifetime or probably even 10 lifetimes you can't really learn everything. Even एक subject को भी अगर पकड़ लो, है ना? So keep learning and always be open to whether somebody is a senior or a junior. कोई ना कुछ सिखा के जाएगा हमेशा, right?
Absolutely.
जैसे मैं वीरा से सीखता रहता हूँ, है ना? पता है इसको
मैं
कुछ
तो
नहीं है
कुछ
फिर
नहीं
भी
सिखाती.
ओके जी, दूसरा क्वेश्चन था अगेन वेरी क्लोजली टाइड टू दिस क्वेश्चन, दैट्स व्हाई वी पिक्ड दिस वन अप, वाज हाउ डू यू मैनेज सो मेनी बिजनेसेस. एंड आई थिंक वीरा ने काफ़ी हद तक तो ये आंसर कर ही दिया, बट लाइक हाउ डू यू मैनेज सो मेनी बिजनेसेस वीरा? यू आर अ रेस्टोरेंटर, you opened one restaurant, now you
ठोकरें खा खा के.
have 2 restaurants, a bakery, साथ में भाई तुम पॉडकास्टिंग भी करते हो, क्या मत कैसे?
कुछ नहीं, बस लाइक आई सेड ठोकरें खा खा के सीखे.
यही है एक अपना.
ये तो मतलब जेन्युइन आंसर है कि इनिशियली इफ यू रिमेंबर, सो I have a very bad, now I feel like I've worked on it also because I realize that is a problem that I have because of Vipassana. Now again I'm bringing mindfulness back again because I realize that I have a problem to do a lot of disaster management. मतलब अगर चाय का कप कहीं गिर गया तो मैं हूँ वहाँ पे नीचे उठ पकड़ने के लिए, या मुझे पता है कि सिड ने गिरना है तो आई विल बी स्टैंडिंग राइट बिहाइंड, लाइक यू नो, लाइक यू कैन एक्चुअली मेक मीम्स ऑफ मी, लाइक आई यूज्ड टू डू दैट कि मुझे पता है, लाइक आई वुड टेल सिड दैट आई कैन सी दिस हैपनिंग, लाइक दिस इज व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हैपन, एंड दैट वुड रियली बॉदर मी, एंड ऑब्वियसली नॉट रियलाइजिंग द फैक्ट दैट मैं अपना काम तो मतलब कर ही नहीं रही, आई एम जस्ट करंट लाइक कॉन्स्टेंटली मैनेजिंग कि कुछ गलत हो जाएगा, and that's also a lot of wastage of energy in as a matter of fact. Yeah, I feel like I realized after a year and a half that there are going to be problems at every level, whether managerial level, operational level, back end accounting, IT, मतलब कुछ ना कुछ तो होएगा. You're running like you're out in the open, like you're basically think of it as like fighting a war, not literally fighting a war, but कोई ना कोई मतलब घायल तो होएगा ही, और अगर कोई ना कोई घायल होएगा, rather than saying कि ये घायल ना हो जाए, like be ready with first aid. So
Agreed.
Yeah, like be ready with first aid, be ready with bandages, and yeah, like instead of like trying to like कि उसको गोली ना लग जाए और उसको ऐसे ना हो जाए, like be ready with the solution rather than trying to make the problem not occur. So obviously that took a lot of time, and a lot of my mental health was at stake, but I learned through all these last 2-3 years that just like if every day is a new day, you've been given the opportunity to learn something, to make something out of it, I don't like the word hustling because I feel like
Jat hustling karda.
nahi, I don't like the word hustling. I feel like if you're hustling, it's not nice. Like everything should free flow, and you should just be like the water should not be choppy, it should be free flowing, and you should just be in it, like casually. हाथ पैर मारने की ज़रूरत नहीं, just casually moving forward. So yeah, I feel like it took a while to understand how to function in terms of managing everything. And obviously as we grew as a business, people also got more experience. People that we have in our teams, they got more experience. Now if they were doing probably something at a 60% efficiency, they're probably doing it at an 80-85% efficiency. And then also you have to let go of a certain things that are not relevant, that can be overlooked, should be overlooked. It 100% perfection आपके दिमाग में, perfection actually कुछ है नहीं. And it's very hard for me to say this, but perfection in the true sense is in your brain, because when you reach perfection also, or your so-called perfection, आप उसको भी cross कर दोगे. अच्छा है कि 20% आप छोड़ते हो, because that gives you a scope of growth. Keep improving, keep getting better. And also like try not to do everything by yourself. Like make people, empower people, encourage people to, you know, come forward. You don't have to be the solo warrior, you know. Also something that I used to be like, oh, because I feel like ek to na you can say I don't want to blame. I don't want to blame society for this, but I feel like these you know, these movies and these books that we read, like it gives you like, oh, I'm a strong independent woman and I want to do this. मतलब कुछ नहीं हो जाएगा if you take help from your husband, or you take help from your friend. It's just going to make it better. Like people don't understand that. I feel like I'm giving a lecture and you're like just listening to me, but people don't understand that by asking for help, or asking for people to join in, it's not going to make you any weaker. It's rather going to make you stronger. Because imagine the brain of two people combined into one is going to not be like 100% efficient, it's going to be 200% efficient. So true. Yeah, like your expertise into my expertise will be a 200%. Whereas if I try doing things that...
Your expertise and my expertise will be 150%, because मेरा 100, तेरा तो 50 ही है ना.
चलो 150.
मैं ये तेरी सारी जो तू बोल रही है बिल्कुल सही है. इसको मैं पॉइंट्स में बता दूं क्या बोलने की कोशिश कर रही है ना. सबसे पहले मेरे हिसाब से काम 10 रुपये का कर लो, 10 लाख का कर लो, 10 करोड़ का कर लो, 1000 करोड़ का कर लो, एफर्ट उतना ही लगना. सिंपल सी बात है, ठीक है. अगर 10 रुपये कमा रहे हो उसमें भी उतना ही जोर लगेगा जो 1000 करोड़ का है. सिंपल. नंबर 1. नंबर 2, काम सबसे पहले तो ऑब्वियसली यू हैव टू स्टार्ट. जस्ट स्टार्ट. ओके, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा फेल हो जाए कोई बात नहीं. मैं बहुत बारी फेल हुआ, आज भी होता हूँ. तो मैंने क्या रियलाइज़ किया है, नंबर 1, काम जितना मर्जी ऊपर नीचे हो, डजेंट मैटर, मेरा उतना ही एफर्ट लग रहा है. नंबर 2, काम शुरू करो और फिर अंडरस्टैंड करो कि किसी प्रोसेस को करने का तरीका क्या है, जिसको हम SOP कहते हैं. स्टैंडर्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रिंसिपल्स, प्रोसीजर, जो मर्जी बोल दो. SOP है कि भाई ये काम करना है, उसके लिए ये 1 2 3 4 5 चीज़ें करनी पड़ेंगी. फॉर एग्जांपल ये पॉडकास्ट हमने करना है, उसके लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा, सबसे पहले कंटेंट हमें लिखना पड़ेगा. ये मेरा तेरा काम है. नीतीश पाजी को कैमरे सेट करने पड़ेंगे, लाइट सेट करनी पड़ेगी, एक डेट सेट करनी पड़ेगी, टाइम सेट करना पड़ेगा. ये एक लिस्ट है. इसमें से कुछ भी अगर नहीं हुआ तो ये पॉडकास्ट नहीं हो सकता. ये लिस्ट हमने बना ली, SOP बन गई, ठीक है. नंबर 2 है. नंबर 3 है डेलीगेट. जिसका जो काम है उसको वो दे दो. मैं कहूँ नहीं, मैं कैमरे भी लगाऊंगा, मैं लाइटिंग भी करूँगा, मैं एडिटिंग भी करूँगा, मैं बोलूँगा भी, मैं कंटेंट भी लिखूँगा, कॉफ़ी भी पीऊँगा, नहीं हो पाएगा. ठीक है. जैसे तूने बोला, अगर कप पकड़ने के लिए तू खड़ी है, अगर 10 कप गिर रहे हैं तो क्या करेगी. करेक्ट है ना. 9 तो टूट गए. तो 9 बंदे खड़े कर दो कप के नीचे. सबको उनको बोल दो कि भाई तुम्हारे ये 4 पॉइंट है, तुम्हारे 2 पॉइंट है, तुम्हारे टीम पॉइंट. अब तुम्हें पता है कि अगर फॉर एग्जाम्पल कैमरे नहीं लगे तो नीतीश पाजी को पकड़ना है. अगर कंटेंट नहीं है तो किसको पकड़ना है. करेक्ट. राइट. अगर कुछ नहीं हुआ तो सबका अपना अपना काम है. राइट. सबका अपना अपना SOP है. डेलीगेट. और क्या हो गया, अगर 10 प्रोसेस थी, 10 बंदे लगा दिए, तुम विले हो गए. अब तुम कुछ नया कर लो. ठीक है. हम क्या कहते हैं, अगर यार मैंने डेलीगेट किया पर वो वाली क्वालिटी नहीं आएगी तो भाई बैठो.
क्वालिटी तो चलो ठीक है, आर्टिस्ट वो बोलता है क्वालिटी नहीं आएगी, बट एक और प्रॉब्लम है, लोग ये भी कहते हैं
आर्टिस्ट गरीब रहते हैं हमेशा. ये सॉरी बट
not even getting it, that I also feel like people don't want to split their, like suppose if I'm making an X amount, now an X amount is not going to come to me, and X will be split by
let's say 2 people.
2 people. ठीक है. तो बट वॉट पीपल आर नॉट लुकिंग एट इज कि वो स्प्लिट से आप कितना ज़्यादा काम कर सकते हो.
एग्जैक्टली.
People are not looking at that. People are saying कि वो x split हो रहा है. So suppose they're thinking कि मैं 5, I'm doing 5x every day and that 5x will be divided into 2.5x and 2.5x. But imagine if you have a bigger team and if you're 2 people now doing the same
250x हो जाएगा.
ज़्यादा हो जाएगा ना.
Exactly.
So that's what I feel like people are afraid of. And it's not something that I feel like they don't know this. Like somebody needs to give them this.
हाँ,
So that's why having a mentor.
एग्जैक्टली कि 10 रुपए मैं बना रहा हूँ, अब वीरा भी आ गया 5 बना रहे हैं, बट भाई वो 5 के 50 हो जाएंगे क्योंकि
Correct.
तुम्हारा टाइम फ्री अप हो गया ना. टाइम का सारा पैसा है. तुमने ये सोच लिया कि यार मेरे तो 5, मेरा आधा पैसा बन रहा है, बट भाई इट्स लाइक इट्स ओके टू गिव अ पार्ट ऑफ द पाई टू समबडी बिकॉज नाउ इवेंचुअली यूल हैव 2 पाइज इंस्टेड ऑफ वो एक ही में लगे हुए हो. सो डेलीगेट, SOP और आगे बढ़ो लाइफ में रादर देन डूइंग एवरीथिंग आवरसेल्व्स व्हिच वी ये मैंने सीखा है, वीरा ने सीखा है फ्रॉम जोका. हम इनिशियली सब कुछ खुद करते थे, अकाउंट्स भी खुद करना है, प्लेटें भी खुद लगानी है, सफाइयाँ भी खुद करनी है. तो हमारे वेरी गुड फ्रेंड ऑफ आर्स वरिंदर पाजी आए एक दिन, ऑल्सो ही हैंडल्स आवर अकाउंट्स. इज लाइक देखो जे ता पंजाबी में बोले जे ता जोका यही है, यहीं रखना है तो बहुत बढ़िया, सब कुछ आप करो, ऑफिस में आ जाओ और ऑफिस में रहो. बिकॉज एक बार ये ऑफिस चले गए मतलब
निकलना ही नहीं.
कुछ ना कुछ हो जाएगा हमें.
हाँ.
कहते अगर आगे बढ़ना है तो ऑफिस आना बंद करो, अकाउंटिंग टीम रखो, सबको अपने अपने काम दो. एग्जैक्टली जो मैंने बोला हमें समझाया उन्होंने, कि हमें नहीं थी समझ, हमें था कि नहीं यार अकाउंट्स भी देखने हैं, चाहे ये तो नहीं वो तो नहीं हो गया. सो इवेंचुअली सब चीज़ों की अपनी अपनी एक टीम आई. इसीलिए आज हम लाइक आई थिंक फिफ्थ को हम स्कीइंग करने जा रहे हैं. तो हम स्कीइंग करने जा रहे हैं 10 दिन के लिए. तो क्या पीछे जोका बंद हो जाएगा? नहीं होगा, बिकॉज टीमें अपना काम कर रही हैं, सबको अपने SOPs हैं, सबको पता है कि ये 5 पॉइंट इसने करने हैं, 5 पॉइंट इसने. वहाँ बैठे बैठे हमें कुछ लगा कि अगर ये नहीं हो रहा है तो हमें पता है किसको पकड़ना है.
करेक्ट.
ठीक है ना, कि अगर कोई मैसेज जो रोज़ आता है वो नहीं आया, हमें पता है किसका काम है, बिकॉज SOPs डेलीगेट. ठीक है, एंड दैट इज़ द ओनली वे टू ग्रो मेरे हिसाब से, है ना. ऑल्सो सॉरी काट रहा हूँ तुझे, जो तुमने डेलीगेट किया उनके लिए भी अच्छा है, बिकॉज यू नो उनकी भी ग्रोथ हो रही है. अगर आपकी टीम है 5 बंदे, वो 5 बंदे भी आपके साथ साथ ग्रो कर रहे हैं, वो भी चीज़ें नई सीख रहे हैं. सिर्फ मतलब तुमने अपना काम नहीं है ना, समझो काम उसको दे दिया तो वो गिल्ट भी होती है कईयों को, है ना, कि यार मैंने काम दे दिया आगे. भाई वो भी ग्रो कर रहा है, कंपनी बढ़ेगी, उनकी सैलरीज बढ़ेंगी, उनके स्टेक्स बढ़ेंगे, बहुत कुछ होगा. सो विन विन है सबके लिए.
Yeah, they're growing as people. I wanted to say that also initially, like, I'll use the word now that you have to hustle a little bit. Like, it's not easy. Initially, थोड़ा सा hard होता है. Like, I'm not saying that the first day you, like I said, perfect जितना बना लो उतना perfect है. Because initially सबको नहीं पता होगा क्या करना है. So I feel like अगर आप initially, like, say for the first 3-4 months or 5 months
टीथिंग प्रॉब्लम्स इसको कहते हैं.
प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं एंड दैट इज नॉर्मल. इट्स नथिंग लाइक,
वो तो रिलेशनशिप में भी होती हैं यार.
हाँ, वो हर चीज़ में होती
बिजनेस में. और ये बातें ना मतलब घर वाले बोलते होते थे कि बेटा इनिशियली टीथिंग प्रॉब्लम्स आती हैं बिजनेस में. कहते थे यार इनको क्या पता. भाई आती हैं, टीथिंग प्रॉब्लम्स आती हैं यार. हमने नया इक्विपमेंट लिया है, ठीक है, कैमराज लिए हैं. अब नितिश पाजी हमारे जो जो सारा रिकॉर्ड करते हैं, एडिट करते हैं, उनको भी जैसे बिकॉज इट्स अ न्यूअर ब्रांड, उनको भी टीथिंग प्रॉब्लम्स पहले दिन आई कि अच्छा यार ये वाली सेटिंग है. 10 मिनट एक्स्ट्रा लगे सेटअप के लिए, लगे, पर वो चलेगी. आज मतलब ऐसे सेटअप हुआ. ठीक है, इनिशियली थोड़ा सा मतलब आएगा.
It's like a new thing, like when you buy a new phone also, like you take time to get used to it. So same thing.
Exactly.
So it takes time to get used to, and then everything just follows in place.
बट वही है कि करते रहो, प्रॉब्लम्स आएंगी, लगे रहो. ठीक है ना. जैसे पॉडकास्टिंग भी है, इनिशियली हो सकता है पहला एपिसोड में ना पसंद आए, धीरे 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 समझ आएगी कि अच्छा करते रहो. दैट इज़ द ओनली ऑप्शन, है ना.
I guess.
तो भाइयों और बहनों, ऐसा है कि आज का तो राम ने सारे आने, ऐसा है कि आज का तो जो हमने बातें करनी थी हमने कर ली. बट लाइक आई सेड, प्लीज गिव अस योर क्वेश्चंस, थिंग्स
That'll be really nice.
you want us to talk about,
Or like bring like people that you would like to hear.
want us to call. You know, because like I said, it'll be fun actually talking about things that you guys are interested in. नहीं तो हमने तो भूल ही जाना, हमें टेंशन नहीं है. बट या, दिस इज़ मी, Sid, signing off from the Balanced Path.
this is me, Veera, signing off from the Balanced Path. And also, like, hopefully now everybody will see us skiing on Instagram soon.
Please, बर्फ नहीं पड़ रही, बर्फ डलवा दो. Bye bye.